Keegan is a self-destructive criminal defense lawyer in L.A.
I'm 6 months behind in my alimony payment, and it's just a matter of time before I go to jail. And with a face like this, sweetheart, my dad's heart's gonna be awfully full.
Mouthy and irresponsible, he takes on cases of those that seem beyond help.
They did a TV movie about you, right? Yeah. It was good.
I have this brilliant idea of a sequel.
Guilty. We're entering a plea of guilty.
But he might be his own biggest enemy in Rake.
Hi, I'm Liz.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Sean. Rake is the new mid-season replacement show from Fox. We've all just seen it. Aaron, what'd you think?
Before I start, I just want to say we've only seen the pilot episode. It was created by Peter Duncan, who was the showrunner of the same series when it was in Australia. The pilot's just not good. I'm sorry. It's, to me, I've seen all these gags before. I've seen this character before. It's like a mirror image of Shameless or Californication, you know, premium cable shows that talk about despicable people and get to use language and violence and nudity, something that this show doesn't have. And it was just a little underwhelming. Yeah, I felt like everything was trying to be over the top just because it could, and just because the director or the screenwriter thought that that's what people want to see.
I think every new show is trying to be like the next AMC or the next History Channel, and definitely Fox is trying to chase that, and they don't get to because they don't get to show nudity. It's not Game of Thrones. I actually thought the script was quite restrained in terms of its use of dialogue and the situations that the character could get into. I mean, the shorthand for the character in the first 5 minutes, you know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a screw-up, and you're going to see the screw-up eventually attain some sort of heart of gold at the end of the series.
But he just keeps screwing up and keeps screwing up, and I'm just
but
like,
it's Greg Kinnear, so it's not as worthless.
I didn't like the first 5 minutes of the show because it did do what you're saying. But when you say cliche, I felt it was more like they're checking off things that you need to have a television show. And I saw all of them, and I liked all of them. I thought that with the structure in place that has been done 1,000 times before, they did find some ways of doing it that I thought were unique, and I was willing to continue with it.
And I should point out that if your client is unrepentant, pleads not guilty, and forces the city to waste money on a trial, we will have no choice but to seek the death penalty.
Well, you can forget about that, Red, because he's guilty as hell, and that's how he's gonna plead, okay? Give me 5 minutes with him. I'll get it done.
It's got a fun protagonist played by Greg Kinnear. It's got a lot of supporting characters that are going to enter his life or have already entered his life that are going to either help him or hurt him. I'm not sure in what way. And after the first 10 minutes or so that was overly stylistic, and I was like, oh, is this another one of these shows? It found its footing more. It found the comedy that was within the situation.
Yeah.
And it was enough that this is just a pilot, but I thought the pilot itself was good, and I was willing to continue the show afterwards.
The first 15 minutes, I was really just rolling my eyes and sort of fed up with how similar it is to shows that have been done about crazy characters who are not good people. And then they started to get into the procedural lawyer stuff, and believe it or not, that's the stuff I actually enjoyed the most, because Greg Kinnear's character seemed to be a pretty decent lawyer, which was a nice dichotomy when, you know, you see 15 minutes of him just being a complete jerk in every way and just a complete screw-up.
What I did think was the strength of the show is casting. I mean, other than Greg Kinnear, yes, he's amazing, but we have John Ortiz, who I think is a wonderful actor, and he was in Silver Linings Playbook. And he
Right, his friend that he stays with.
Yes, and he's just like this underutilized, really talented actor. Miranda Otto is in this show. I mean, we have a lot of really talented actors who don't look like plastic dolls. They have interesting faces and are talented.
And multinational, which
And
I thought was really
it's a
interesting.
very multinational cast.
It takes place in Los Angeles. These are good actors. These are actors you wouldn't see normally get cast in roles, and that's a shame, and they do very well here.
Man, you're $59,000 in the hole, my brother.
Tomorrow morning, I got a client coming. He's paying me $15,000 cash. Every penny goes to you.
$15,000 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing me?
Not great out of this year, but yeah.
Despite the fact that these actors and actresses you mentioned in supporting roles are good, the only reason I would ever watch this show is because Greg Kinnear's on it. He's the saving grace, and if he wasn't on this show, I don't think I would recommend it to anybody.
It's a network show, so they can't be that offensive. You've got to sort of stay within the palette that people are familiar with, because if you go too far beyond that, they're not going to stay with you. When he's walking around town with this giant tuna on ice that he's going to sell to some sushi merchant to pay off a debt, I thought that was funny. I thought that kept the show fresh, even if the fish wasn't. And I don't know if the writers are going to be able to necessarily keep up with those gags, but in the pilot, you know, if all we can do is judge the show on 45 minutes of what we've seen, I thought that was enough for me to recommend the show.
The story of the pilot sets up like really fruitful gags that could be capitalized with a lot of cheesy humor and a lot of puns. I don't know anyone who uses puns, maybe someone next to me, but like lots of really predictable jokes. And instead, the script is stripped of that, and it really just tells the story and lets the actors act. And it's just nice to see Fox put out something like this, whereas 10 years ago, this would never be broadcast on Fox.
Rake is a fun mid-season replacement show. I think Greg Kinnear is the reason to watch. I say see it.
Honestly, the pilot hasn't impressed me at all, but there's room for improvement, so I'll say stream it.
I don't feel very passionate about this show, but I think it's well made and well cast, so I'm going to say see it.
Well, our votes add up to 2.5 tickets, which is a see it for Rake.
Cheers.
Cheers!
You guys want to go out for tuna later? From the hots.
From the hots!
AJA Video Systems, proud supporter of Just Seen It, offers a wide range of professional acquisition and post-production solutions. Learn more at aja.com/PTV.